Welcome to the TBE podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Forsyth, founder of TBE, the global community of 35,000 entrepreneurs. If you are looking to start, grow, or fundraise for your business, I would love to hear from you. Please go over to Twitter or Instagram and send me a message. I would love to see how we can help and support you to grow your business. So welcome to the TBE podcast. Today I'm joined by James Cadbury, the founder of Love Coca. How's it going, James?
Very well, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How's it going so far?
Yeah, with the business?
With the business and the day, I guess.
Yeah, today, it's quite a nice day in London today actually, which is nice. A little bit chilly, but no.
Bit of rain as well.
Yeah, maybe it's not the nicest, but we're in a nice office here in Hagsden, so in East London. And yeah, business is going well. It's the time of the year where we sell a lot of chocolate coming up to Christmas. So we're super busy at the moment, just trying to keep up with demand, which is fantastic.
Excellent. And so what did you have for breakfast this morning?
What did I have for breakfast? A bit of a cliche, but I did have avocado on toast. So I don't have that every day, but I had some avocado. So yeah, it's very nice.
And what is the one thing you would have changed differently before you turned 20?
Before I turned 20? Oh, that's a really good question. One thing I'd change before I was 20 was... I don't know, actually. Can we come back to that one later?
Your girlfriend just looking...
Yeah, I was going to say something interesting, but then I can see my girlfriend, who I work with, so I better not. No, I'd probably... I'd like to got more into business when I was younger. I did sort of play around with a few things on eBay and stuff like that when I was in my sort of just going to university. But I saw that more as a way of topping up my finances rather than setting up a business. So it'd been quite cool to think about setting up a business back then. But yeah, I was too busy enjoying life and
Having too much fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what is your favourite company right now, apart from your own?
What is my favourite company right now? There's quite a few I really like. I think for flower gifting, Bloom and Wild, I always use that. It's one of my favourite websites.
Yeah. So we're actually interviewing Aaron in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so they've done great, and I use that service a lot of the time. I think it's so easy to use, and my mum loves it. And other companies I really like. There's so many cool young startup food brands at the moment, which seem to be doing really well. So I admire a lot of them, the likes of Dalston Cola, Karma Cola. What they're trying to do in the soft drink market, I think, is really cool. Less sugar, better, more crafty drinks. So there's some of the companies I definitely admire.
Amazing. And so if you could just summarise your career to date before you started the business, what would it be?
Say again, sorry?
So if you could just summarise your career to date.
Career to date. Yeah, so in my career to date, so I went to university in Liverpool where I studied marketing. After I didn't really know what I was going to do, so I decided to stay on for another year and do a master's in Liverpool. And then after that, I went back to Birmingham, which was where I grew up in. And I was just looking for jobs and managed to get a job at the new Deutsche Bank office in Birmingham. After 6 months, I decided that I wanted to move to London. And I got a job in the back office at I think it was Deutsche Bank, Barclays it was then. And then from there I progressed and ended up trading for a pension scheme, which was great. I thought it was the amazing job, but I haven't done that for a year or so. I just found it actually quite boring, and it wasn't what I wanted to do, and didn't want to look back and think, I've just been pushing hundreds of millions of pounds around the world. I don't feel much fulfillment in that. So yeah, 2 years ago I decided to quit that and focus on Love Coca.
Very nice. And so Love Coca was started in 2016. What was the idea behind it, and tell us more about the business?
Yeah, so I set up the business in 2016, and I guess there's a number of things. The inspiration behind Love Coca came from my great-great-great-grandfather, who was John Cadbury, and he set up Cadbury's Chocolate back in 1824, when it used to be a little grocery shop, and started to do teas and coffees and eventually hot chocolate. And from that, they grew and were really successful by being quite innovative and having the best products. So some of their marketing campaigns at the time using colour was something which wasn't really seen to happen in chocolate or any sort of food. So they're quite innovative with that. And Cadbury's obviously got taken over by an American firm nearly 10 years ago now. But my family were no longer involved due to them being philanthropists and giving away all their wealth to different organisations and charities, which is absolutely amazing. So I saw an opportunity 2 years ago to set up an online business, which is how we started. which sold chocolate, and it was quite similar to Bloom and Wild in that it was through the letterbox, and since we've grown out of that, but we still do letterbox friendly gifting. And we wanted something which was, really colourful, fun flavours to send to people as a gift, and also ethical. So we give 10% of our profits to Rainforest Foundation, who really do some great work in the industry to guard against deforestation. So we don't use palm oil in our products, for example, and that's the idea behind Love Cocoa.
And how's the business going to date?
Yeah, no, business is going well. So in the first year, it was me going to pop-up stalls in London and markets. I remember some pretty horrible experiences when I was just starting out, when it just poured. Went down Bermondsey Market trying to sell my chocolate, and it just poured and poured and poured. Luckily, my girlfriend was there to help me, but I think we managed to have a fight after about 10 minutes because of the terrible weather. So that was quite interesting in the first year, but it was great because we got lots of customer feedback. And in the second year, it was, we've got a good brand here. We're doing some good sales online, but actually we need to try and get into more stores. So we managed to get Fortnum & Mason as our first store, and from that we got into the likes of Selfridges, Harrods, and recently John Lewis. And that's really helped push us recently. We've done a few corporate deals as well with the likes of O2 and American Express this year. So we've managed to grow our revenue from I think it was £40,000 in the first year. Then the second year was 260, and in 3 months into the third year, we've already smashed that. So yeah, it seems to be growing and going in the right direction.
And how's the business changed over the years? Have the products changed? Has the branding changed?
Yeah, I think we always look to try and innovate and change things slightly. So as we've grown, we've tried to come up with different flavors for our products. So we come up with some fairly wacky ones like avocado chocolate, being the first people in the world to do that. And in terms of packaging, and the website, we're always trying to iterate and try and make small improvements to make the proposition clearer and stand off shelf. Sorry, you can probably hear my office dog in the background.
And so how do you keep those relationships key with your retailers?
Key with retailers is you just got to go the extra mile. I think everybody can send a quick email and say, oh, we've got this great product, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but these buyers, if you speak to them, they have about, I spoke to one of them, he said he had 500 emails a day, so he's just not going to get a chance to even look at your email most of the time. So I think it's just being creative to try and get into stores, so maybe using emojis in your title, or sending, when you're sending a PDF with brand presentations, go the extra step. So when we sent one to Waitrose, we went to an actual Waitrose store, we put our product in there and took a photo quickly whilst no one was looking, which was quite nerve-wracking, but we managed to get away with it, and we included that in the deck, and they were really impressed by that. So I guess the little things like that help you stand out, and then sort of to continue your relationship is, we try and have catch-ups where possible. Most of the time these guys are too busy, but at Christmas we'll send nice little gifts, a bit of merchandise, just so they keep thinking about us, and they're generally quite good at asking about new products and stuff like that. So that's the way we sort of have our relationships.
And are retailers quite difficult to work with at times?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a limited amount of time. They normally manage a lot of products, so you at times as a brand you feel that you're not getting the limelight or the amount of time you deserve. But generally we've got a pretty strong relationship with most of ours. The one sticking point with quite a lot of them is always the payment terms, and normally as a small brand you get paid after 60 days, which I find a bit unfair, especially when they paid the bigger boys like Unilever in probably 1 day or a couple of, maybe a week maximum sort of thing. So that's the only sort of sticking point we have with retailers, I guess. It's just that if we're having big orders and big POs come in, that we sometimes need the cash a bit quicker than they're prepared to give us, which means that we have to go down the invoice factoring route, which obviously comes out by margin. So yeah. And
what retailers are you in right now?
So we are in John Lewis, is probably our biggest retailer, which we've done an exclusive range for. We're also in the likes of Selfridges, Planet Organic, Harvey Nichols, and a few other stores, and lots of independents actually. I think we're in around 300 independents around the country. I've also just started to, exporting has been going on for about 2 years, but that's probably about 20% of our business. We export to America, to Japan, to Germany, Norway, Sweden, and a few others. So that's a real key part of our business. And actually, in the chocolate industry in England, we export more chocolate than Switzerland, which sounds incredible, but apparently it's true. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. And so, do you have mentors, or how do you get all the knowledge about the world?
No, to be honest, we've been looking for a mentor for a long time, especially when we just started. But we had a few conversations, and we went for some. When I was emailing people asking them to mentor me, we probably went for some people who were too high up. Just means they just haven't enough time, sort of thing. So we've never had a real mentor, but we've created quite a lot of close relationships with different food brands. And I think the great thing about the food industry is that it's a really collaborative environment. So we know brands who do soft drinks, we know brands who do snacks, and everybody seems to have the same problems, and everybody's happy to help each other. So I think that's how we've sort of got mentorship, or that's how we've learnt about the industry. So we're quite good friends with Nick from Snaffling Pig, who's got a pork scratching range, and they do all sorts of amazing things with that. And he's been a real help with us. He's a few years ahead of us in terms of what we've achieved. So we found a lot of good things to come out of our relationship with him.
And you've raised money. Tell us about that funding stage.
Yeah, so originally I put in some money myself, and then we took out a Virgin startup loan. It was only a small Virgin loan, but it was great to get their feedback in terms of the business plan and ideas, and to create that relationship actually with Virgin startup, which they're really great guys there, and it's been a real help. And that got us through until we started to work with bigger retailers, and then we needed to raise some cash just to ensure that we could fulfill the purchase orders, and to buy packaging at a scale rather than at a smaller scale. And for that we used Seeders, which is a leading crowdfunding platform in the UK.
And was that useful for you, or?
Yeah, no, I loved the experience. It was you basically have to do a video, and we did quite budget one, if I'm honest, but we managed to make it work. And once the video was ready, then you put it on the platform, and there's quite a lot that sort of goes on behind. I think some people think you literally just put the video up and you get the money, but we did go to different events and speak to different people, tell people about the product, promote it on social media. But we seemed to do quite well in there. We did, I think, 190,000 in 3 weeks, and then we had to stop it because lots of people continue to try and put money in, but we knew that 190,000 at that stage in our business would be enough for at least a year. So yeah.
And some people get quite confused about how actually crowdfunding works. Did you have to raise any of that money beforehand, or?
Yeah, I mean, it does help to go on with some money. If you go on with 0% and you're viewed at public, then I think people on Crowdcube or the investors will be less likely to put money in. So I think it definitely does help to go in with at least 20% to show a bit of momentum. A lot of time with these crowdfunding, it is momentum. It's a bit of a snowball. It's really hard to get that first 20, then 40%. Then after that, then it does come a lot easier, and people jump on board. But yeah, it is worth getting as much as you can before you release the website publicly. So you can always raise privately, and that's a great opportunity to send it to your current customers or friends and family. And we got friends and family to put in quite a bit, which again I think helps build trust. That if people with the same family name are putting money into the business at that valuation, then people get a lot more trust. And also, what's key to it is really trying to having your questions ready. So if you go on the crowdfunding pages, you'll see that normally there is like a forum, and there's lots of questions, and generally it's the same questions for every pitch. So having those questions prepared and spending a bit of time on them before you go live is a real key help, I think.
And what's been the hardest challenge with the fundraising?
The hardest challenge with the fundraising, I think, because we've used crowdfunding, it was really just getting that first 20% and getting people to believe in you. I think as we grow the company and we look for further investments, I think that will be challenging, just to keeping your eye on the business as well as fundraising. I've spoken to lots of entrepreneurs, and fundraising does take up a big part of your day. So it's juggling, making sure everything's going right in business, and then doing the fundraising on the side. So I think that'll be a challenge we'll have to face next year when we look to raise some bigger money.
And do you have an idea of how much you want to raise, or?
I think next year we'll probably look to raise around £500,000 and that'll be spent on continue to developing the brand, and we want to also start doing chocolate subscriptions on our website. We want to get into the personalisation gifting space, and we want to do more pop-ups, and sort of the long-term vision for the company is to eventually open our own sort of cafe stroke gift chocolate shop. So somewhere where you can go and you can have a nice hot chocolate, and you also can see all our products. I think that's potentially a really big market for us. So we want to sort of start trialing that next year with these pop-ups. So some of the money will be spent on that.
Interesting. I mean, the retail, especially online retailers, it's booming, but the high street retailers, it's very difficult right now.
Yeah.
Do you guys think you really can crack it?
Yeah, I think if we look at other businesses in chocolate, so for example, Hotel Chocolate, they've done some amazing stuff recently, and they've grown hugely. And I think key to their growth has definitely been being in the right locations. And I think a lot of it is, I think the retailers which are doing well are the ones who are, encouraging customers to come in for a reason. So, they're creating an experience. So that's why we try and do hot chocolates and stuff like that, as well as just selling the bars. And I think another thing is getting the right location. So, the travel, gifting,
major cities.
Yeah, the major cities and
London,
sort of travel hubs within that. So we've seen like a huge increase in the amount of retailers you get in train hubs and airports and stuff like that. And I think you can, do a lot more trade there. So that's where we'd probably look at.
Interesting. And do you need a big team to run a company like this?
No, I mean we've got a team of two, and our revenues have grown a lot in the last year, and I think you can, if you prepare to put the work in, then you can keep it fairly small. I think lots of people hire for the sake of it, and they're a bit worried that they need people, and we've done that in the past. We've hired people for the sake of it, and it hasn't quite worked out because we weren't really sure what we needed. But now we're a team of two, and we're both sort of laser focused on getting through till after Christmas, and then we'll be looking to definitely expand the team. I think we need to add some operational support to us, and sort of over the last 3 months where we have been looking for people and we have interviewed, it's been quite an experience in terms of learning what we actually need. I originally thought we needed a salesperson, but actually I'm probably the best salesperson. It's my brand, it's my company. I know the product inside out, so I would be better spending time doing sales than hiring someone. So that's what I've sort of learnt, and that's what we need.
And how do you split their responsibilities?
So at the moment, the business is actually me and my girlfriend, and we try and split it. She's more on the operational side, but at the moment there is lots of covering each other and just trying to get the job done. But as we grow, then we'll definitely have to separate it more and change the responsibilities a little bit. But the time being, it seems to be working.
And you're fortunate enough to obviously have the Cadbury name behind you. Do
Yeah.
you think that's really helped grow the business? And do you think the business would be in the same position if you didn't have the Cadbury name behind you?
I think it probably helps because it makes the story interesting. But I think you don't need to have a name, or you don't need to. I'd have set up something else or done the business slightly differently, I guess. I think lots of people have different connections and wonderful things like that. So it's just sort of playing off your strengths. So I think it definitely helps. It does pick up attention, but I think we could still be going without it. I think we're a strong brand. It's very colourful. Got some unique flavours. We give back to a charity, 10% of our profits. I think that makes a difference and makes us stand out a little bit. So the Cadbury name, definitely helps. But I think we'll still be doing all right without it.
And why did you want to give 10% away to charity?
I think if I was going to set up a chocolate business and follow my family footsteps, my ancestors, the way they were so successful was treating their staff really well, and giving back. It was all about giving back, and I couldn't set up a business without giving back. I think my values and my ethics when I was growing up, I used to live by the Cadbury factory in Bourneville, and I just felt that I needed to give.
Would you go in there regularly?
I used to go there for my, a bit sad, but we used to go there for my birthday parties actually.
Really?
So when I was about 7 and 8 and 9, we'd go there and do the
Eat
tour.
lots of chocolate.
Yeah, it was quite good fun actually. They had like a chocolate pinata thing where you'd destroy it and try and find the golden ticket type thing. So
Oh, wow.
I used to go there quite a lot when I was younger.
And what's been the hardest challenge to date?
The hardest challenge to date, I'd say, was just getting people to believe in you when you start. Getting your first retailers is super hard. So, once you got one, it becomes a lot easier because you can put that on your presentation, which you'll send to buyers. But to get that first one is really hard, and we were quite lucky. We went into Thornton Mason and we managed to take some chocolate, and I gave it to someone on the shop floor, and they managed to take it upstairs. And from that, we managed to get them as our first stockist, and from that, it became a lot easier to get into the stores. Without that, it might have been a lot harder. So I think any advice I'd give in terms of that would be just, you've got to sort of hustle and make things happen for yourself.
And for you personally, what's been the hardest challenge?
I think probably work-life balance sometimes can be stretched. Just being such a small team and being the first 2-3 years of our business, I think spending a long time at work at the moment, doing probably 60 hours a week, which is tough, and doesn't mean we can socialise or do as many things as we want to. So that's been quite a challenge, sort of adapting and having less money as well to when I had a job in the city, I guess, or any job, I guess, when you're starting up. You don't pay yourself. I didn't pay myself for a long time, so that was quite a challenge to sort of adjust. And
were there moments when you did think about giving up, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had so many lows, lots of highs as well. But with food, things can always go wrong. We've had some bad experiences, and you sort of scratching your head thinking, what the hell am I doing? I should have just continued with my safe job, which has a pension and all sorts of wonderful things like that. So there's been times where I thought about packing in, but I think we've got through that now. We're into our third year, and the prospects are looking really, really positive.
And what has been our lowest moments? The one that really stands out to you?
Oh, I probably can't say it. It was really bad. So maybe in 10 years' time I'll say what happened. But it's
or another one.
Another challenge. I think when we printed the barcode wrong on a bar, that was quite frustrating. We missed it. We were redesigning, trying to make the product better in terms of the packaging, and our design, unfortunately, he copied over the wrong barcode, and we didn't spot it, and it went into a number of stores, they didn't react too well to it. But luckily, we're not in supermarkets where it's a lot bigger deal, where you can have to recall 50,000 products or wherever it might be.
How did you rectify the problem? Was it a small batch, or?
We were basically had to send replacement stickers out to people, and some people returned the products. And it was just making sure that it wouldn't happen again as well. So, because we happened, I think, about a year in, retailers were a bit more lenient. Still fined us for it, which is fair enough because it creates a problem for them. But that's how we rectified it. We're just honest. We said, look, we've made a mistake here. It was a genuine mistake. It won't happen again though. Better not.
Fair enough. And so, what does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day, like any other startup, I guess every day generally is different. Some days we'll be focusing on sales, and some days we'll be focusing on just making sure the business is ticking along. It can be different, but I think what's great about where our office is, it's a 2-minute walk from my flat, and that means I can come and go when I want, and I think that makes a big difference.
And you here super early? Do you leave late at night?
We normally get here not to 8:30, but then we probably work till quite late. Being close to a park house, you can sort of go for a walk in the afternoon, just to relax and try and get some fresh air. I think definitely helps.
And 5-year goal, what's the plan?
So I think next year is definitely to develop our online side of the business in terms of personalisation and subscription. Start to look at the pop-ups at the second half of the year. Then after that, it is really, I think we've got an opportunity to grow, and I think we're going to have to definitely open up some stores to grow. I think that's the plan, really.
And if you could go back to 2016, your first day operating, what's the one thing you wish you knew?
I wish I knew. I wish I probably got a bit. I wish I could have found a better mentor or someone who could have really helped and sort of been there and done it. I think they'd have probably added quite a lot of value and probably stopped some of the mistakes we had, and sort of advised on who to give equity away to and stuff like that, which I think is really key. And my advice is to keep as much as you can, really. If I knew that before, and I'd probably acted a little bit different.
And would you like to sell up in the next couple of years?
No, not for the next couple of years. I'm enjoying it. I think it's it's great working in chocolate. It's fun, learning lots about business, and not for the next couple of years. Maybe in 5 years, if we could expand the business and people are interested. But again, it have to be on our terms, in terms of we'd want people to respect the values which we're trying to create with Love Cocoa.
And before we finish, how many bars of chocolate are you selling a year now?
That's a great question. I think it's probably this year we'll do around 500,000, and we also sell truffles and all sorts of other products. So it's growing. It's done really well. So I think last month we did 100,000, over 100,000. So yeah, it's going alright.
And do you still eat a lot of your own products, or do you get sick of them?
I get sick of them. No, some of them I'll eat a lot. But yeah, I prefer to eat the newer ones. So if I'm going to eat something, I'll be some of our newer products as before. Sometimes you can get bored of your own product, I guess. I think everybody probably agree who's got a food or beverage business.
Fantastic. And to finish, what is the one piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur?
One piece of advice to give to an entrepreneur. I think if you're looking to set up a business, I think it's got to be something you're really, really passionate at. If you don't have that passion, then when you hit those lows, you're gonna take it harder, and it's gonna be a real struggle. And I think if I wasn't really passionate about chocolate, what I was doing, then I'd probably given up. So just be passionate about what you're doing and be persistent as well. I think persistence is a real key thing to have as an entrepreneur. So if it is selling the product, when things go wrong, you need to be persistent.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. Where can our listeners find out more about you?
You can find out more about us at lovecocoa.com, or you can buy our products in John Lewis or Harrods or Harvey Nichols or any of those stores.
Very nice. Well, James, good luck with it, and thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks, Ollie.
So another fantastic guest today on the TBE podcast. Don't forget to head over to Twitter or Instagram and send me a message if you are starting, growing, or looking to fundraise for your business. We would love to hear from you. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the TBE podcast to avoid missing out on any episodes.